E.N.D here. After I posted my tutorial video on how to play Mutate, one of the new mechanic in Ikoria, I received various comments and questions regarding certain scenarios that could happen during the game. So today I will do a part 2 on how to play Mutate covering these particular scenarios. First of all, I will cover, and here there will be the list, response while casting Mutate, summoning sickness, destroy, bounce, exile flicker, and last but not least, commander. So let's start building our battlefield. Let's put here our stack and let's put a couple of creatures in play. Just to make it clear, my tutorial will leave the lands out. So let's start with our mutate creatures. Here I have the mutate creatures. As I said, you can cast a creature. In this case I have Ghidorah, King of the Cosmos. You can cast the creature for its casting cost, and it will go on the battlefield as a 6/6 legendary creature, or you can cast it for the mutate cost. So let's start. We're going to cast this creature for the mutate cost. When you cast the mutate cost, you need to target a creature, and the creature has to be non-human. So I'm going to cast Ghidorah for the mutate cost. The card goes always on the stack. Now, what happens? Let's say I want to mutate Ghidorah on Mox Viper, so that the mutate creature will have also that touch. At this stage, there can be a response. There can be a response when Ghidorah is on the stack and Ghidorah can be countered, or there can be a response on the creature you are targeting. So if someone shocks Mox Viper goes to the graveyard and Ghidorah will go on the battlefield as Ghidorah as a 6/6 creature without mutation. Now, let's say Ghidorah is on the stack and no counters, no response, and Ghidorah hits the battlefield and mutates on Mox Viper. When it's mutate on Mox Viper, you choose to put Ghidorah on the bottom or on top. In my case, I'm going to put it on top because I want my creature to be a 6/6 with flying, with trample, with its ability, and also with that touch. So now my Ghidorah has also that touch because I mutated the Mox Viper. What happens? It happens that because Ghidorah was mutated on a creature that was already on the battlefield, and the creature was on the battlefield for more than one turn, my Mox Viper was here for the first turn, Ghidorah does not have summoning sickness. So Ghidorah can attack on the turn because Mox Viper didn't have summoning sickness, therefore the mutated creature does not have summoning sickness. But if Ghidorah hits the battlefield and Mox Viper was destroyed in response and hits the battlefield as a normal creature, in that case Ghidorah has summoning sickness. So that's how the rule works. Now let's take our Ghidorah mutated on Mox Viper, and we take also, we have here Bioquartz space, we have mutated on the Vexingal. This has flying now, this has the touch, this has trample and flying, this has trample and flying also. They have mutated. What happens if a creature is destroyed? Let's say someone cast a murder on one of the mutated creature. Let's say I'm going to cast murder on Bioquartz Space Godzilla. The creature will be destroyed. What happens? If Bioquartz Space Godzilla is destroyed, both cards, both creatures will go in the graveyard. That's how destroys works. Let's say you had this particular creature mutated, say you had a triple mutation, Ghidorah, and we here put also Space Godzilla. If you have this scenario and you have a triple, maybe 4 or 5 creatures mutated, and someone cast a basic destroy target creature on your mutated creature, all cards are destroyed and will go to the graveyard. Bounce. Let's build again our creatures. Let's say we have this scenario, we have 2 creatures mutated, and someone cast a bounce as unsummon a return target creature or enchantment and appoint controls to its owner's hand. So someone cast this card, Stern Dismissal, on my Ghidorah, targeting my Ghidorah. What happens? The creature bounces into my hand, but both cards bounce into my hand. Not only Ghidorah, it's not only Ghidorah that bounces in my hand and Mox Viper goes to the graveyard or Mox Viper remains in play. Both cards came to my hands. So whenever someone bounces a mutated creature, both cards go into my hands. As for destroy, both cards went into the graveyard. In this time, both cards came to my hand. Next one is exile and flicker. Let's put here exile zone. So someone exiles one of the mutated creature. If someone exiles by a quartz Space Godzilla, let's say Banishing Light, again both cards go into the exile, and this is most important, both cards are separated. So whenever a mutated creature changes the place other than the battlefield, changes the zone, they became a separated card. So if you exile a creature that is mutated, in my case my Bioquartz Space Godzilla, both cards go into exile and they are two separated cards. If you flicker, yes, both cards go into exile and both cards will climb into the battlefield, but this time as separated entities. That's how flicker and exile works in this case. So whenever you do something to a mutated creature, both cards or 3 cards or 4 cards, depending how much mutation you have, will go to that zone and they will be separated. Let's take this scenario. We have here a triple mutation creature and my Bioquartz Space Godzilla is my commander. If someone destroys this creature, the bottom 2 cards will go to the graveyard and Bioquartz Space Godzilla will go into the commander zone. Obviously you have the option if you leave it in the graveyard or the commander zone, but you can, if the creature is destroyed, you can choose the card to put it in the commander zone. Obviously you have to pay the commander tax. So whenever something happens to the mutation creature and one of the creature card is your commander, in that case you will choose the commander if you put it in exile or in command zone or in hand or in the graveyard. So these are the scenarios that I wanted to cover in this tutorial. I hope you understand much better mutation. As always, here there is a subscription button. Subscribe for my channel for more interesting videos about Magic the Gathering and the collectible world.